you're in that V stance, you are zip and hollowing. It's quite nice to bring the arms out to the side and add the challenge of the arm circles. So again, zip and hollow, heel raise, and then allowing 10 circles backwards. So noticing the muscles of the legs coming into tonality through the inner thighs, through the inner zip. Your pelvis is level, chin level, crown lengthening, and then circle for 10, coming forward. Keeping as steady as you can. So this is promoting strength in the muscles and bones and joints of your feet. Remember that in a low T shape or low V, the shoulder blades are down the back. So you should be feeling the arms moving from the shoulder girdle and then lowering out. Give yourself a little wiggle. So step the feet now, mat, so width of your own mat or slightly wider than your shoulders. Again, find your Pilates frame. We're going to float the arms forward and come into the wider angle plie. As you exhale, press through the air and draw back to standing. Now remember that you might have to take a couple of reference moves. Usually heels are heel to heel alignment and the feet are approximately 45-degree angle. Some of you, of course, are holding your weights. So breathe in as you lower. And then exhale, squeeze the buttocks, draw up and slide up your wall. So find that your knees track over the center to the outer toes. So remember, we don't want knee drift. We don't want internal rotation of the femurs. And this is about strong gluteals and stable pelvis. And let's go now for 10 at a more rapid pace. Inhale, exhale. You can bring your arms to the shoulder height if you prefer. Squeezing through. Inhale, exhale. Remember to use the muscles. So it's mind to body, because as your brain accesses the toned condition of those muscles, you will feel the efficacy of the plie movement. Now 10 repetitions is just a general idea, but you can also just do as many till you feel maybe what we call a fatigue. So you feel the muscles just lightly burning and you know that you've achieved well through that practice. Now rotate the palms up, turn them out, hold the dumbbells face up or palms up, slide down your wall into that plie and just make sure that those thighs widen out, draw in through the navel, and then we're going to go for 3, 2, 1 and release. Inhale, lower, and pulse for 3, 2, 1, squeeze. 3, 2, 1. These kind of mini pulses. They're just so subtle. I hope you can feel the muscles just coming in to a little bit more response. Remember, feet are spreading and you are not lifting your heels or lifting the balls of the feet or the toes. And on the exhale is when you sort of gather everything in and draw back to center. Well done. Give the legs a little shake. And then standing tall, and please hold a wall or a shelf for this if you wish to. So coming back into your Pilates standing posture, just going to take the right foot one step forward, and then as you start to lift the left leg away, push out through your heel and raise the leg. And remember, we can also move into our quarter tilt. Point and flex. that back foot. Belly muscles are in. Point, flex, point, flex, point, flex. Each point and each flex is a set. So trying to hold steady that balance for 10 footwork movements, and then circle your ankle. And when we're working with movements sort of behind the body, what happens is, as you circle that ankle, it helps with your proprioception. So I hope that that's something that you find efficient and effective to help you maintain your standing balance. We're going to swap legs. So remember, feet are grounded. You are breathing well, nice and upright. I'm going to step the left foot forward, just imagine you're on 2 tram lines, and then start to pour weight through the left pelvic half, down into the left foot and ankle. Stay as upright as possible, small tilt, as you reach the right heel back. And then point the foot, flex the foot. You want to keep that leg as strong and powerful as possible. Mind is counting the repetitions. Breathing steadily. You can bring your arms out if that helps with your balance. You can hold a shelf lightly or the wall. And then circle your ankle 5 times in one direction and 5 times in the other direction. Keep the crown lengthening away from your tailbone. And when you've completed, step out. Just have a little break. Circle that pelvis. You might want your feet to be hip or shoulder wide. Soften the knees if that helps you move. And just come into a more organic, sort of flowing, flexible attitude. Just rolling around your base. And then return to your V stance, the Joseph first stance position. Again, just check that pelvis is level. It's quite easy to stand into a rotation without noticing. And then pick up the right foot. So as you pick up the right foot, you'll press quite strongly into the ball of that foot and really flare out your toes. And then lengthen the foot back down, stand tall. Pick up the heel of the left foot and spread. You might want to check, spread into all the toes, push the ball of the foot in. And kind of massage across the front, that's the transverse arch. So you might want to do a little bit of a wiggle, go back to the right side, keep everything upright, move into that left side. And then roll and curl the toes into that, just as if you were a ballerina on point. So now curling the toes, the toe knuckles, pressing into the curled flexed toes, release. And curl and press into those flexed curled toes. Don't hurt yourself, but just notice how much stiffness might be present in the knuckles of the toes. We're just going to do that twice. Hopefully you've got a really decent mat under you, because if you're, you won't want to do this on a harsh wooden floor. So press in, or you can always press into a blanket. Quite nice with socks on. And then release again. Inhale, exhale. Rise up onto the balls of the feet. So back into our sort of zip and hollow sense of the practice. Stay lifted, heels together, and bend the knees. So you're balancing in your plie. And what we're also going to do is just bring the fingers or the weights up onto the shoulders, so we get this lovely matching shape of the body. Inhale, exhale, lower. Let's create a few shoulder circles here. 10 in reverse. Standing lovely, upright, feeling energized by the movement of the joints, freeing up the chest and the collarbones and the shoulders. 10 coming forward. Nice deep inhale, exhale. And then option is to stay here, opening those elbows wide, or come out into your cactus arm position, and you might be holding those weights. So lots of focus and concentration, spreading out through the toes, grounded through your feet. Draw in through that corset tree. So gather that navel in, ribs in, rise up. And you're only rising those heels as if they're sitting on a little paperback book. We'll have a little paperback classic, a penguin classic under there. Inhale, exhale, bend the knees. Remember, you are in heel raised position. Squeeze back into the balance. Gently lower. So this is really good for our focus and concentration. It's great for the mind. And again, really good for strengthening the feet and the ankles. Now you can continue with slow motion. Inhale, exhale, rise. Inhale, exhale, plie balance. Notice your muscles contracting. Zip and hollow, rise again, and gently lower. Or you can find, joining with me now, 10 in a row. Coming up, squeeze up and down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then squeeze those arms in. It's like peekaboo. And let's go 1, 2. Legs are grounded, feet are grounded, zipping and hollowing. For 3, 4, 5. Toning the abs, toning the biceps, feeling the muscles in the back also contract. 10. And release. Shake out those legs. And then come to a wall space, standing perhaps about a mat-wide distance away from the wall, but you'll have to check on this according to the length of your arms. And place your hands shoulder wide or slightly wider onto the wall. Now you can have two options here. You can keep your 10 toes long facing forward, and they are grounded. Lengthen tailbone, light tone onto the glutes please, control this, and inhale to lower, exhale, press away. And I'd love you to find the action of wall press up that especially suits a challenge for your body. So the second option would be to rise up again onto the balls of the feet. So in that slightly more sense of plank-like press up, and perhaps to be further away from your wall. So as you draw the body into this more sloping diagonal, you'll notice the difference in your strength required. But remember to keep that very strong center all the way through, crown lengthening away from the tail, and you are breathing in as you lower and exhaling and pressing back. And I'd love it if you could find a dozen of those, possibly more or less according to the challenge you're providing with yourself today. Allow good breathing throughout. Remember that the arms and the hands and wrists are spreading into full extension, And if you can draw the elbows in rather than always letting them wing out, that will also provide another good strength ability to your shoulder girdle. Now, when you've completed your plank press-ups or wall press-ups, you might still want to be at the wall to allow a Pilates roll down. So let yourself rest against the wall. Feet are perhaps about 10 centimeters away. Nod that chin to the chest. Look down at your lovely feet and toes and just soften the knees into a micro bend. And as you peel, what's quite nice, first of all, is to just drop in, to look into your heart center and to maybe feel parts of your back still pressing into the wall. And then, of course, to peel away. And as you peel away, the buttocks will glide up the wall and you will work focused to allow the crown to lead you in to that full Pilates roll down. And then dangle and shake out. You can nod the head, you can roll around here and really feel the sense of a feel-good release. So the vertebrae are opening out through gravity and the weight of the head is drawing you in. And you can, of course, touch the floor or you can hold around your ankles. Remember, everybody's got a micro bend. And then it's the exit that is very controlled as well. So as you start to exit from your roll down, keep looking into the navel or to the heart center. And you are sequentially peeling back, articulating your body from that sense of strength. Stay gazing down and then let the shoulders lay back against the wall as you allow your head to float and your eyes to gaze to the horizon. Now, of course, with Pilates roll down, you're very experienced and you might find that you're moving up and down 4 or 5 times, and that's absolutely fine. But please remember, it's about mobilization of the joints, and sometimes it's good to stay in that movement just a little bit longer. So maybe go into roll down on 2 to 3 rounds of breath and exit on 2 or 3 rounds of breath as well. But we're now going to come to mat and find ab brace. So bring yourself, when you're ready, into all fours, and remember that you can pad your knees if that's required. So have your folded blanket under your knees if you need to. Let's spread the palms below the wrists. Bring the knees below the hips and find your all fours tabletop back. So working quite seriously into a classical all fours standing. Standing on the hands, standing on the knees, curl the toes. Your option is to bring your knees together and squeeze the ankles together. So press out through those balls of the feet and then lift the knees away. Maybe just 3 or 2 centimeters. And breathe steady and then kiss the knees down. So we're going to lift and kiss for 10. It's a tiny move. I don't want you to lift those buttocks high up, please. I just want you to stay in that table. Roll the shoulders away, squeeze between the inner thighs if your knees are together. And it's kiss and lift for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, and 1. Now stay hovering and then curl your tail under, rounding a little in the lower abdominals, scooping, and then turn your tail up. So essentially pelvic tilt and tuck while in your ab brace. We're just going to try 5 sets. Exhale, scoop and tuck. Inhale, wag that happy Pilates tail. Now, of course, if you need to, you can use that practice with your knees down and just pelvic tilt and tuck in the all fours. But by lifting your knees, you are bone building, more of maintenance of strength in your body, and you are also creating a little bit of a stronger response in your core muscles, which I'm sure you can feel. You might want to bring the knees apart and release back to a shell stretch. Soften your elbows and roll the hips from side to side. And then walk the elbows and forearms forward, so fingers to the top of the mat, and slide down onto prone position. Lengthen your legs away. Again, choose to bring them hip wide or draw the feet and legs together and touch the palms together. And as the elbows draw below the shoulders, just rearrange your body so that the spreading out of the front chest occurs. And in yoga, of course, we call this pose a Sphinx. And it's also used in Pilates as a lovely back strengthener and a chest opener. So reach out through the feet, press the tops of the feet down, and then curl the toes and push the balls of the feet in. Roll the shoulders back, lengthen the feet and toes, tops of feet come down onto mat. Inhale, exhale, curl the toes and push the heels away. And notice that vitality through the legs. One more, feet point, tuck the toes, both feet point, 1, 2, tuck, tuck, and point, point. And then release the body down. Touch the forehead to the mat. Again, elongate out through your legs. Have your pelvis flattish, but sense that you're just drawing up lightly through your navel. Bring your arms back around into that goalpost or cactus shape. Tops of feet press in. Inhale, exhale, and just float the chest away. Keep the gaze to the mat. And then reach the arms out to a T shape. Breathe in. Exhale. Draw into the elbows bent. Inhale, arms spread into a T. And exhale, bending the elbows back. One more like that. Reach, a bit like wings. Exhale, back into the elbow bend. And then float and hover your legs. Now be careful about this movement, because sometimes when we hold steady with this kind of elevated, strong back position, we might just feel a lot of that energy land into the lumbar. So just as you release from that, turn the head to one side, roll your pelvis left and right, and be aware of your response to that practice. And then bring the hands under the shoulders, press up, coming back to all fours, and circle your hips. Again, let's find a flexible, organic movement as you roll 3 times in one direction, and then 3 times in the other direction, circling around, letting that circle flow through the hips and into your shoulders all the way through. And then press hands definitively below shoulders. Steady all fours into Pilates plank. Push out through the balls of the feet. And then scoop up through the belly. And walk your feet in a little bit. Squeeze the heels together. Look at the feet and then bring them out into the V stance. And this is coming in towards a Pilates pike. So press up through those hips. And then for my body, I've got to walk back out again, so I've got such long legs. And again, bring yourself into plank, but with the balls of the feet spreading out and the heels joined together. Inhale, exhale here, and then walk in again. Rise up through the hips, V stance in the legs, press back into that lovely elongation of the legs. And then finally, walk back again, bring your knees down, and come into kneeling. Flow round onto your seat, and we're going to get ready for some abdominal work from seated roll back. So, flowing down into your seat. And let's get ready for some lovely abdominal focus. A little bit more core now on the abs. So squeeze the inner thighs together as you sit tall, please. And then bring the fingers, two options, either onto your shoulders or just around the back of the skull. So you can find that you're interlacing around the back of the skull, or you can have your fingers lightly touching the tops of the shoulders. So as you sit tall, notice how strong back is required here to open those elbows out. Shoulders down the back. Exhale as you scoop down to halfway. And it's perhaps somewhat here. And notice your C-shaped curve. And then slowly glide back, sit upright, squeeze those knees together, open out the elbows. So here is our breath in. Exhale, rounding through the seat, scooping through the tail, abdomen hollows. You might want to bring the elbows round a little bit to encourage that sense of rounding in the upper back with conscious control. And then you sit tall as you float back and open out those elbows. So can you find up to 10 of those? And that means you might be, of course, moving a little faster, but take care of your back. And if perhaps doing 5 reps and moving slower, if that's better for you, then please, that is what you'll do instead. Inhaling at the top. Find the tonality as the buttocks roll towards the heels, scooping down into your C-shaped curve. Little hover at the end of the exhale, and then inhaling, sit tall and widen those elbows. Now, should that feel okay for you, we're going to add a rotation at the top of the practice. So we're going 5, we finished our 5 or 10 sets, of the centered rollbacks. Now we're going into rotation. So again, breathe in at the seat, squeeze legs, scoop as you exhale and curl down. Inhale, rise. And turn left. Exhale back. Breathe in. Exhale, scoop into your C-shaped roll back. Breathe in, rise, and turn right. And now let's go in one flow. Exhale back. Inhale, rise and twist. Exhale, scoop through and roll with control. Exhale, sit tall, turn. Breathe out. Breathe in. Keep flowing. And keep going. I'm not really locking the knees together on the twist. I'm just letting that pelvis float into the rotation as well, because otherwise that can be quite jamming on your low back. And then as you come back, float the arms down, palms up, and slowly, incrementally, bring your body mat-based. So on your exhale, scoop and hover. Scoop down and hover a little bit more. Challenge as you pause just above the practice mat. And then as you lay down, gather the legs in. And please give yourself a welcome rock side to side. Slide and point both legs away. And reach your arms overhead. Feel good, supine full body stretch. And you'll feel the spine just arc away from your mat. And then gather the legs into supine semi. And just raise the head and make sure that you've found your level pelvis and your Pilates neutral. I'm just going to slide back a little bit on my mat. So, elongate your right leg and turn the foot out. And imagine you've got a really hot cup of tea on that left leg. And I want you to engage the pelvis all from the gluteals up towards that inner thigh and knee. And then we're going to raise the right leg up to the height of the knee. Or we can bring that arrow leg so the heel is above the sit bone. But remember, you're keeping that pelvis stable and the back ribs are grounded. So you might want to bring the hands around the corsetory to check. And then I'm going to flex out that foot and drive that heel away as it lowers and lengthens down, it hovers. So point, lift, flex and lower, lengthen. Point, lift, flex, lower. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, on number 10, lift to the height of the knee, flex the heel, and feel this power coming through your inner thigh. Curl and cradle and lift up. So curling up, just try and curl up a little bit higher. Rotate that leg out, keep that pelvis level, and pulse. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Point that leg away and circle. 10, 9, 8, 7. Tiny circles, controlling. Remember, you've got that hot cup of tea on that left pelvic half. Squeeze into those little tiny circles. Remember, some of you might find you'd rather circle the arrow leg up towards the sky. Curl up a little bit higher, if you can. And then release. Come back into supine semi. Pelvis level, back ribs down, and just feel any difference on that right hip, right leg. Nice little knee sway, left and right. Just massage across the back of your pelvis. Keep the shoulder blades down, arms are relaxed. Easy knee sway. Now, feet are standing. We put a hot cup of tea or coffee on that right knee. Light tone through the gluteals and slide your left leg away. And if you can, if it's okay for your hip, out turn the leg and point the foot. And that leg is coming up towards the level of the knee, or it's coming higher Let the bones surrender down, let the back ribs be strong, and then flex out through that heel so the ankle presses away and you get this strong opening in the back leg, and lengthen your leg out of the hip and it hovers. So no moving, no rocking on the pelvis. Point, lift, flex, lower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Keep squeezing and toning around the pelvis, inner thighs, outer thighs, buttocks. So a lot of lower structures are strengthening through this leg lift and lower. And then press that heel away, curl up, cradle the head, or of course reach the 100 arms forward. Out, turn your foot a little more and squeeze pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, curl a little higher, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, point the foot and circle the hip, or of course come back to the arrow leg, depending on your flexibility. You're drawing circles probably about the size of a grapefruit, and gaze to the big toe. That's like you've got a little pencil on that big toe. And remember that this pelvis half is not moving. And then release. Little knee sway. And then fold each knee above your hip. Point the feet, flex the feet, circle the ankles. So there's been a little bit of extra footwork in today's practice. Flex, point, curl the toes over an imaginary little pole and circle, circle in both directions. And then lift the body, curl up if you can, and reach the arms forward. But the option is to keep head and shoulders down. Now begin with simple single leg stretch, so alternate single leg stretch. But remember not to let that leg just dangle and pull away from your Pilates neutral. So you've got to gather the core in really strongly. So this would be the first action you might want to try. And then we're going to add the opposite arm. So I'm going to float the left arm beside the jaw and reach the right leg away. And then float the right arm beside the jaw as I lengthen the left leg away. And then swap. Each set, counting if you can, 10 measured moves. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Keep anchoring down, pressing the body down. Pause and see if you can add another set of 10. And this time you can flex the feet and push the heels away. And if you're laying down, keep anchoring the whole body into the earth. Hugging the knees. When you've finished, another full body stretch. And then take hold of the backs of your thighs, squeeze your knees together, and slowly curl up to sitting. And then release the feet. Sweep round. Bring your legs to the left side of your hip. Press the right palm into the earth. Again, find that lovely alignment from the crown to the tail. And bring your left arm up and over. Side opening. And followed with a big, generous arm circle. 3 or 5 circles in one direction. And 3 or 5 in the other direction. Remember to keep that right hand, right arm pressing away, almost like a side plank, side bend prep. Come over onto your front body, interlace the fingers, forearm plank, elbows below the shoulders, tucking those toes, squeezing the thighs together. Inhale, exhale. Every muscle is finding that huggability around your corset. Remember to just lengthen out through that tailbone. Squeeze your imaginary tail in between the thighs. And you are not hanging on for dear life. You're just going to stay there for as many breaths as giving you a challenge. And then shell stretch. Come round into sitting, side sitting. Press your left hand out to the side. Or of course you can always come down onto your elbow. With my injury, that might be a better option for me today. And when you're ready, sweep that right arm up to the sky or over the ear. Pause to receive fresh inhalation, exhalation, and then large arm circle. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then 5 in the other direction. You might hear some clicking, popping, or cracking. But it's really good for us always to find time to nourish the shoulder joint itself. And that, of course, is circumduction. And then press up to stand. Bring your feet about shoulder wide. Give yourself a little wiggle. And then finish with a spiral. So full body spiral, let yourself just flow around yourself. Remember, you can always find that you reach as if you're throwing the hammer or throwing the discus, and you can give yourself a little bit of balancing leg as well. And